Hello, I'm Dawn, and I'm the Director of Hopkinton Youth and Family Services.
I'm Cheryl Peralt. I'm a member of the Hopkinton Freedom Team, and so is Dawn, and we're here together to talk a little bit about this talk with Hippolyte today.
In his talk, Hippolyte refers to Rwandan genocide. And that can be a triggering topic when you hear the details of his talk. Genocide might not be a term known to everyone who comes across this video. It's the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group. So you might wonder, how does this relate to Martin Luther King and why King Jr. and why did we have this as part of our talk? We've been planning this since November, and we're so excited to bring it to you. And I'm going to have Cheryl take it away about how she knows Hippolyte and learned of him and his incredible work.
Yes, I met and heard Hippolyte performing his art in Massachusetts over a year ago now, and he had come from Rwanda as part of a program in Boston called the International Arts in Residence with Arts Connect. And he was one of their recipients of that program, which is a great honor. And he gave a speech and contributed some of his art to the overall program, where other young people and leaders from around the world also were there to talk about their art and why it's important. So I got to know Hippolyte through his hearing about his plays and his poetry, and also had the honor of becoming part of some mutual programs that were offered in the Metro West last year. And when it came time to think about an inspirational speaker for this year's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I thought about Hippolyte and his story. I think that the arts have a very important opportunity for people to use their voice, to share their story, to tell what they've been through in their life, to help other people listen, understand, and learn from one another through our stories and through our art. And so I'm so glad that he did come and to share his story with us.
After hearing his story, it's incredibly inspirational and real. And he brings the truth of his traumatic experience he endured as a 7-year-old boy. Descriptions of violence make up a small part of his talk, but his talk really revolves around the peace building activities he's been doing through his work. He encourages us to find hope and forgiveness and to be a peacemaker. Because he was a child when he endured this pain, he doesn't want any other child to endure this pain. And his work is really brought forward because of his passion that we can have a future where children don't have the traumatic history that he has. He invites everyone to be a peace builder. As you listen and after, think about how you can take his invitation and be a peacemaker today.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Dinsmore, and as facilitator of the Hopkinton Freedom Team, I'd like to thank a fellow member, Nudrat Kazmi, and the Islamic Center for allowing the Freedom Team to participate in your annual event on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It is a true pleasure and honor to welcome Hippolyte Ngurwa. Thank you for all that you do, Hippolyte, and for being with us now.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, namaste, and good day to all our viewers. First of all, I would like to extend my thanks to the Hopkinton Freedom Team to participate in Islamic School's annual Interfaith MLK Day. Today, we are honored to have a guest speaker, Hippolyte Ngurwa, who is an artist, researcher, and founder of Be the Peace. That is an organization focused on promoting cross-generational healing and halting the intergenerational transmission of hate. A child survivor of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, Hippolyte continues to promote reconciliation and peace throughout Rwanda. In 2019, he envisioned and conducted the Be the Peace Walk, a 100-day performance piece in which he walked across the country in commemoration of 25 years since the end of the genocide. Hippolyte was an international artist in residence with Arts Connect International in 2016 and worked as an arts program manager for the British Council in Rwanda from 2016 to 2020. Hippolyte joined the Yale University as a Greenberg World Fellow in 2020 and continues as a research fellow at the Shell Center of International Human Rights. So let's welcome Hippolyte Nigurirwa.
Peace to everyone. I'm very honored to be speaking on a day where we commemorate the hero for peace, for justice, and for healing, Martin Luther King Jr. My name is Hippolyte Nigurirwa, like they said. I am a survivor of the genocide carried out against the Tutsi in Rwanda in 1994. Many people from my family were killed in front of me. My father was killed and left to the dogs to eat, and I never even had a chance to bury him. I survived by hiding under dead bodies in mass graves, but I always expected to be killed. I was only 7 years old, and during the genocide, I also was made a child slave for the killers who made us do many work for them as they were waiting to kill us as children as their celebration to finish off the Tutsis. I knew many of the killers. Some were my neighbors, some were my friends. I played football with their children in the village. My dad and my mom have solved problems in the community with them. But because of the hatred that was taught for so long by the government, which was there before the genocide, all these people, friends, they called us enemies and wanted to kill us all. I luckily was able to escape to a refugee camp, and life was miserable there. There was every kind of disease, there was every kind of worry, and there was no food and no security. And the only wish we had was to die and leave the misery behind, because there wasn't any hope, because there wasn't anything like hope or peace or joy or in any way. Every minute was a minute or a second to be killed. Luckily, I survived it all. But my eyes saw what no child should see, and what I have heard no child should hear. Well, a few months after the genocide, I had to start my primary school, and sitting in school was like sitting in memories. I could be sitting in class and remembering the faces of the people I've seen killed, and recalling the screaming voices of children and women I've heard being killed or raped. Even today, these are my nightmares. Well, somehow I was able to succeed in class, and I graduated to go to high school, and I did my high school and I performed well. But when I was 15, I faced the most challenging time of my life. The classroom and education had been my source of healing, and my hope was all, my hope of success was only was only seen. I could see hope only in succeeding in education, and I was hoping that I would be able to do something for my family, for my country, and the only sense I had for life was to succeed in school. But when I was 15, I could not be able to find at least $5 cost for transportation to go to a new school that I was given to go to study to be a primary teacher. And it was far from where I used to go to school. So I stopped going because I couldn't afford that cost for transportation. Well, all the frustration and trauma and grief of my young life came to surface, and I started ways I could become a killer and do revenge for my family, and do revenge for my relatives, and for all the innocent people that I have seen killed during the genocide against the Tutsi. I kept going to where my dad was killed, to a church close to, not very close, but in an area where I was born, kept going there. And I felt that I was having conversation with the old people who were killed in there. And all my days, I could spend all days there. But I didn't know what, I didn't have, I felt that I didn't have the permission to go and do revenge. I kept going back and forth, but I kept my my plan of becoming a killer. I even attempted to go to to the army, but then I was too young to go. So it was outside of that church where I met a Congolese medical doctor who helped me and put me back to school, and he was able to give me money to go to school. So when I arrived at the school, I was introduced to many courses, but I kept having that plan because I felt that that was still the plan to make peace. So, but everything changed when, during my studies and my thought, everything changed when I realized that what was killing us in the genocide wasn't ethnicity or race or anything, but a hatred that was deep-seated in the lives and that was taught for generations before the genocide. After that realization, I made a very important choice of my life. I chose to forgive. I chose to forgive those people who killed my father, my relatives, my friends, and all those innocent people. Where I forgave them, not because forgiving is an easy step, but because I wanted them to learn the price of a lasting peace. And I saw it as a way to stop the intergenerational transmission of hate. And so from there, I believe peace is what you give and not what you ask others to give you. I want to live by example. From then, I now go back to the village, to that village where my mom still lives, and I visit those people who killed, even those who killed my relatives. I shake hands with them. I even hug them and I lift up their children. I play and I teach them. I teach the children English and other important, funny, sometimes jokes and other games. Well, I've also founded Be the Peace as an organization to continue that work of stopping the intergenerational transmission of hate and healing the cross generational trauma that has been transmitted for a long time. Because I believe and I can see that the world is living consequences of violence and hatred that has been transmitted throughout generations. So Be the Peace is the way to live. And we say, we are peace. Be the peace. In Rwanda, we have set up clubs, Be the Peace clubs, and where students have used arts to promote peace. And they meet with the older generations, and they work together. Families have come together, and this is not about children or people staying in class or in their home, but it's about them taking example and messages back into the community and live as one people. So on today, as we remember Martin Luther King Jr., it's a time to think of what we can do, not what we ask others to do. It's a time where we have to be the peace. It's a time where we have to listen to each other. It's a time where we have to remember that everyone is traumatized. It's the time to remember that what we do is what we do should be what we wish our future generation will live. And so on today, I call on everyone to be the peace, to be the peace with everyone, to be the peace with everything, peace every day, and peace with everything. By that, we will make this world a much better place for generations to come. Peace be with you, and be the peace. Thank you.
possible.
Sure. Thank you. Sounds good.
So,